Hi, welcome to Barmy Army fan cams after a 4-1 win at home against Tottenham. A really good performance, actually, and certainly on the back of last week, confidence is up again. I'm joined today by Anthony, Jack, Jake, Sarah and Matt. Anthony, your thoughts on that match, please?
Yeah, it was a great professional performance, I think. Fully deserved. First off, I thought we were clinical. It was good to be 3-0 up half time. I'd say the only blotch today was obviously that free kick at the end, but Mary couldn't do anything about it. To be fair, it was a good free kick, so you can't really blame the keeper for it. But other than that, yeah, it was a good performance, and I think Casey will be happy.
Yeah, Jack, will Casey be happy?
Overall, yeah. The last few results haven't been good in the league anyway. I know that the Burnley one was kind of rightfully a write-off in the end. I was afraid even of Burnley, considering our run of form. But, yeah, she'll be pleased with the result. She'll be pleased with the fact that we've got a few goals in. I don't think she'll be over the moon because at the end of the day, Tottenham aren't a very good side. Let's be completely honest. We could have scored more. I know Anthony said clinical. In parts clinical, maybe let's call it that way. And knowing Casey, obviously she won't be pleased that we didn't get a clean sheet. But overall, 3 points. 4 goals. It's okay.
Okay.
First half, I say clinical, sorry.
Thank you, Anthony. Jake, touching on being clinical, because that's something that we've repeatedly talked about. Did we see then the impact of getting 2 goals relatively early and then just calming everything right down? Because it just seemed that the performance was calmer as well.
Definitely. Look, we didn't look nervous at all. We controlled the game brilliantly. We played it at our own pace and we sped it up when we needed to. We got the ball out wide and Kirsty Hanson was having a fantastic day on the wing. And yeah, everything just seemed to fall into place today. It's one of those really satisfying performances. But yeah, I think, were we fully clinical? No, but we scored some good goals there. And that's what we have to remember. You know, we've been banging on for the past few months even that, since this sort of downturn's happened, we've been missing chances left, right, and centre. We scored 4 goals today. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, definitely. Certainly not going to argue. I'm not going to argue. Not going to complain, considering the way some things have been in the last few weeks. Sarah, thank you very much for joining us. It's lovely to have you with us. One of the real positives for me out of that match, yes, the result's one thing. Yes, the performance is another. We're starting to see players come back from injury, and I'm wondering whether that's also having an impact on confidence, but also just upping the pressure on players that they've got to go and perform.
Yeah, I think when there's players on the bench that are coming back from injury, I think that's going to boost everybody up. But I think also we really clicked today, and that's been of the matches that we've lost or drawn. I think that's been the issue really. The things like the passes have been off, haven't they? Normally, I know they weren't perfect today, but they were much more a gelled team, I thought. And like you say, it probably does help having people coming back fit. And press for me today was at her best that we've seen.
Yeah, that was for me her best. I know she was subbed off, but whereas in the past she might have had a great 45 minutes, that was the best match for us that she's played. Matt, I think Jake said this at one point, it felt like the beginning of the season again. The sun was shining, we had players that we had a full bench, not that we did at the beginning of the season, but there was a real optimism about it today, and that result cements us in 4th place. So regardless of anything else, we're not going to get any worse than last year. So again, psychologically, big result today.
Yeah, absolutely. As others have said, we were more clinical than we've been for a very long time. I think getting that early goal, I believe it was in the 9th minute, I think definitely settled us down. It felt like we were in control. yeah, a lot of positives, getting players back, particularly Leah. We're all delighted to see her back. Obviously, Leslie didn't get on today, but she's available for selection again. And something else that we haven't always seen is players that have come in taking their chance. We are seeing that today as well. So, yeah, I think overall, just a lot of positives all round. And as I mentioned previously, on the podcast on Wednesday night at the start of the season, we had all said our aim was to consolidate fourth and, be closer to the top three than we were last season. And with that result today, it's mission accomplished in that respect. So, yeah, I think really just positives all round from today, in all honesty.
It's one of those where I feel like we could just have a chat about how great it was and how much of a relief it was. Anthony, beating Spurs, never going to be something we take for granted because they're the team we came up with, but head and shoulders above them today. Were you disappointed with Spurs?
Not really. They don't really, apart from earlier in the season where we made it hard for ourselves. We seem to be very comfortable when we play Spurs. So they didn't really, an attacking sense, I would say I was probably a bit disappointed with Spurs, but with the balance of the game and how they defended in that, nothing really surprised me, to be fair. We just we took our chances, especially first half, like I said, and so no, I would say they didn't really bring anything nothing was missing that I thought would miss, apart from maybe having a few more chances, which they didn't really have.
Yeah, and I always just want to make mention of the other team rather than ignore them. Jack, one of the bonuses for me, I think, is we struggled to come up with just 4 names in some ways for the poll today. And there's been weeks not that long ago where I think there was one week we didn't even run a poll. The performance was so dire, but we've struggled to come up with maybe 2-3 names. Today, we had some really, really good options showing that actually we had contributions all over the pitch and from a number of players. Mainly the attackers, they had more to do. But again, have we almost potentially hit our stride a bit too late again?
Yes. I think, we have, but on the flip side of that, it's good that we don't have to pick Goose 1 or Goose 2 again. But I am happy that, there were a few more performances out there today that looked like football players. So yeah, that was pleasing. But in terms of have we hit our stride too late? Yeah, we absolutely have. It's mentioned on commentary again by BBC. 5 defeats in 9 matches. This is now 5 in 10. So around about a 50% marker since the turn of the year. They talked about it as well. That it's disappointing where we were, and now we're kind of like talking about, oh well, at least we'll keep 4th. Those weren't our goals at the beginning of the season. There are goals now, but they're not goals at the beginning of the season. It was nice to hear I'm not sure who she was, Scalacci, the ex-Tottenham player. She said, United will be disappointed, but they've come in and very quickly established themselves. It's nice to hear something like that from a professional player, because obviously us as fans, we're super, super critical, but a Tottenham player saying, look how far we've come and it's only our 3rd season, and we could look at those mitigating factors. It's only our first full WSL season. So it was nice to hear that kind of, other, maybe a bit more objective side to things. But, we know it from the players, we know it from KCM, we know it from ourselves that we're expecting more from the season, and we haven't got it.
Yeah, ultimately. Jake, with that in mind then, what do we need in order for us to come away from this season feeling positive and not have that hanging over us that we had that bad run and it scuppered our chances of third?
Well, I'm not going to put loads of expectations on the players, but look, you've got 3 games now against teams that on paper we should beat. So you've got Bristol, who are near enough down or looking that way. You've got Everton, who now, if the right, can't catch us. So those 2 teams don't have a lot to play for anymore, as do most of the league. And then, of course, Leicester in the FA Cup, which will be a tough test in itself. But again, we should beat them. And you look at today, and it just fills you with confidence and a bit of hope again. And like I said in the watch-along, it's like the start of the season when it was bright. And the play reflected that, really. It's as if the weather defines how we play sometimes. But, yeah, they've shown again that they can do it. They've not lost the spark because some of our best players didn't come on. Jackie didn't come on until late. Leah, the same with her on her return. Russo didn't even get off the bench. And all season we've been saying, oh, what if we had this player? What if we had that player? Well, the squad that we've had all season have suddenly turned it on, which is it's good to see. Frustrating in a way, but fills me with confidence that these last 3 games are going to be ones that can sit back and enjoy.
Yeah, and actually maybe that's something we can take from this, just the chance that we can sit back and enjoy them. Today was one of those days for me. It just felt even more of a shame that we couldn't be there. I think maybe it was the weather, maybe it was the way we played, maybe it was, I don't know, just felt a real shame that we couldn't be there. Sarah, going forwards now. So obviously we've got Bristol next week and they are fighting for their lives. They need points. We know their game plan seems to be ball over the top, give it to Ebony. Do you expect Casey to make changes for that game?
I would have thought so. I know she said that she wants to be careful with Leslie, doesn't she, and bringing her on, for I don't think she'll start. But I would have thought Leah might start. She was looking good. But I can't see many changes from today other than Leah starting. I would have thought. She might play Martha instead of Smith, maybe. You never know.
And Matt, are you confident of a win next week?
I am, considering the performances we've seen in the last couple of games and the fact that, the confidence does seem to have returned, just as we're coming to the end of the season. But I would urge a note of caution, considering, as you say, Bristol are fighting for their lives. I think there's teams above them have got games in hand that they'll play before then. So, the need for the points could be even more dire for Bristol going into that game. And, let's not forget, they did beat us at LSV last season. So, by right, it should be, all things being equal, it should be a similar kind of display and result that we've seen over the last couple of weeks. But I think Casey will definitely want to guard against complacency, simply because, let's face it, the chances of us getting third, considering how few games there are to play, are not great. So we haven't got an awful lot to play for in the last couple of weeks, in all honesty, whereas Bristol have got everything to play for. So there is a potential danger there.
Maybe some of our players are playing for new contracts. Maybe they're playing for deals somewhere else. So there's still enough for us. Right. Last question. That's simple. One name, your player of the match. Anthony, I noticed we've been having a version of Through the Keyhole with you. Hopefully you're settled now.
Sorry.
Who's your player? No, it's nice to see the hand.
I'm going to go for Tooney, 2 goals and assist, and she won the penalty, I think. Was that correct?
I don't think we were quite certain. Some said yes, some said no, but okay, that's answered it. Jack?
Tooney FC.
Never doubted your appreciation of her. James?
I think this might be a new one for me. Kristen.
Not Jackie? Okay.
Not quite, no. She's been picked.
Sarah, player of the match.
Oh, really? I'm going to go for Tooney.
Okay. Matt?
Yeah, again, 2 goals and an assist. It's got to be Tooney for me today.
Okay, slight split decision, but again, one of the highlights is that we've got more than one player we can choose from. Thank you all very much for joining me. We're off to go and see how the fellas get on against Leeds now in the second half. Hopefully that can keep the day going positively. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you all again next week. Cheers. Bye-bye.
See you. Bye.